Hello! Today I want to go over what I've been working on during the last week and a half on the live streams. Xiao's coming out. And not to sound like everybody else on the planet, actually there's a lot of people that are kind of like, they're going to pass on Xiao. A week or two ago, though, it seemed like everybody wanted Xiao. Xiao has been on their website as a character that's in-game since launch. And since I don't follow lore, I don't hang out in forums, I don't really talk to people unless they're in my chat. It took me a month to realize that Xiao wasn't in the game. My favorite color is green. He was like the coolest looking character, aside from Beidou and Fish, right? So naturally I was like, hey, I want him. And then I found out he was a polearm user. I'm like, hey, there's no polearm users. He's got to be kind of fun. This is long before I knew anything about elements or whatever. Then I started learning he was going to be an animal person. I'm like, animal are cool. Like, they're cool, but they're kind of technical. They're not just a button masher. So I was like, I don't know, man. And then I decided to finally succumb to fake news. Stand by. This website right here, the Honey Impact. I'll have a link down below. I don't know. It's probably already down there. Pretty sure all the websites I have down in my description box. If you guys didn't know, there's a ton of stuff down there, man. I have a list of stuff. Anyways, unreleased characters, fake news. Fake news. It's not legit. Things are still subject to change. I'd never, in the history of any of the games that I play, pay attention to leaks. Don't care. It's not real. Whatever. But maybe that's why my channel's dead, because I don't get on the hype trains of everything that gets rumored, okay? So, we caved the other day. We were having a discussion on chat like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks now. And I pulled this up to look at Hu Tao and Xiao. So I was going through and I'm like, well, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? I don't care about this kind of, like, this stuff right here, the scaling is, we're not going to get into that rant. But we read his skill and his burst, and then we read his talents and stuff. And he sounds like he's going to be, if he has the damage output, he's going to be kind of like a Razor almost, where he's meant to be on the field. Whenever you pop his burst and you leave the field, it deactivates. And according to this website, it's a 70 energy cost. And for some reason, without double checking right now off the top of my head, I feel like that's a number that doesn't exist. I feel like they're 40, 60, and 80. But it could be 70. I could be wrong. So when you pop his burst, his damage goes from white numbers to green numbers. That's because he now is dealing anemo damage. And I've heard a lot of people over the last week or two talking about how they want to use weapons for Xiao, such as like the Dragon Spine Spear or the Crescent Pike. We're not going to talk about the 5-star weapons because they're irrelevant. I know there's going to be some elitists out there that are like, what do you mean they're irrelevant? If I'm making a video on content, it needs to be accessible to everybody. 4 stars, everybody can get. I'm going to pull a number out of my ass, but 99% of players are never going to see a 5-star weapon. Or at least one that's like the Jade Spear. Right. They might get 1 or 2 5-stars in like 6 months of playing. They're not going to... The chances of them getting a 5-star, I don't cover 5-star weapons because they're irrelevant. Be mad. I don't care. So yeah, this guy's got physical damage and this guy's got physical damage. If you haven't seen my Chong Hates Razor video, when you change your damage from white numbers to another colored number, your physical damage no longer exists. So if you're doing 100 damage, white number damage, and you equipped an item that has 7.5% bonus damage on there, you're going to be doing 107.5 damage. When you change to your element, that 7.5 disappears and you're back down to 100. So right then and there, I was like, whoa, wait a second. The whole point is to be in your burst form. You're going to be losing HP. You're going to be doing more damage. You're going to be jumping and doing plunging attacks depending on how wonky it is or how much damage you actually pull off with the plunge attack. It might not be viable. We'll have to wait and see. But because of that, don't think that you're going to be using a physical damage weapon. The Favonius Lance is one of the hardest hitting 4-star spears. It does have energy recharge on it, and its perk is energy recharge, essentially. That could be a very big one for Xiao because he's got an expensive burst according to the leaks, subject to change. Another good one would be the Prototype Star Glitter, in my opinion. You've got energy recharge on there, and then it increases your normal and charged attack damage by 8%, then technically 16% at an R1, Refinement 1, after you use your skill. And according to the leaks, you have a 10-second cooldown on your skill. You have 2 charges. I mean, you could potentially be casting this like every 5 seconds. So you're going to be casting it a lot. Let's go back here. This effect lasts for 12 seconds. So as long as you're staying in combat and popping a skill like every 5 to 6, 7, 8 seconds, you're going to be maintaining 12% extra damage at Refinement 1. So this could be really good. This is not. I haven't looked at the 3 stars. We'll revisit those later. There's other spears in the game too. I'm highly considering the Royal Spear right here. Is it going to give me more information? Yeah. It's a 44 base, so it's one of the... It ties with the Favonius for max damage for a level 4. It has attack percent built into it. And then it increases your crit chance until you crit. So every time you attack, you're going to get 8% more crit chance again and again, up to 5 times. Then when you crit, it knocks it back down to 0 again. So it's just going to make you crit more regularly, which is... It's an okay talent. It's not anything super special. It will increase your DPS just a little bit, but the attack is going to be really good. That'll affect everything. And then it's one of the harder hitting weapons also, which increases your attack. And then Xiao has built-in crit chance on his character. I think it goes up to 25%. The Black Cliff polearm is also another polearm I'm considering looking at, but I'm not going to be able to pick it up this month, so we'll have to wait again until March to pick this up. Next month, February, the Royal will be in the shop. But this, you get more damage after you kill things, and it's got crit damage built into it. It's not as hard-hitting as the Royal and the Favonius, but it's another good, viable one. Now, we have a big debate in my channel regarding artifacts and set bonuses for Xiao. I'm leaning towards a 4-piece Gladiator set, or a 2-piece Viridescent and 2-piece Glad. There is a chance that 4-piece Viridescent could actually be really good also, but that's going to be very situational. The idea of the 4-piece Gladiator is that the 2-piece set bonus is going to increase your attack by 18%. That's going to apply to everything you do. That's going to apply to your white numbers, your plunge damage, your charge damage, your skill damage, there's no burst damage, I don't believe. I think it just changes your form. And then you'll be doing green number damage. That also applies. Attack will also buff the green number damage, your animo damage, when you're infused. And here's where the 4-piece bonus has an argument with some people, and including myself. I don't think this is the go-to, but I think this is going to be viable. Your 4-piece set bonus increases your normal attack damage by 35% if you use a sword, claymore, or polearm, okay? You're using a polearm. So your normal attack damage. I have videos that show how all these stats apply to different things. Your normal attack damage will not buff your skill damage, and it will not buff charged or plunge damage. We've tested those on stream also. So it only affects your basic attacks. It'll also apply when you're infused with animo power, when your burst is active, and you're doing green number damage. So unlike physical damage, which gets erased, normal attack damage is also applied. So on a polearm, where you're jabbing a crap ton, like a woodpecker or an angry chihuahua ankle biting somebody down the street, you're doing a lot of attacks at an increased 35%. The argument being, well, if you run a 2-piece Vera, you get 15% animo damage. So then when you're in your burst form, your damage goes up 15% instead of 35. That's less. But your plunge damage should also be animo when you're in your burst form. And then your charge, if you choose to charge, should also be burst. So that's going to be 15%, 15%. If the plunge damage is huge on Xiao, because he's designed for plunging, a 15% increase could trump. You could hit for like 30k and then be hitting for like 2k basic attacks with Gladiator. If that's the case, the Vera is going to be better. We have to wait and see what the damage numbers are going to be to really depict on what is going to be better. Again, if you run a 2-piece Vera and a 2-piece Gladiator, you're getting an 18% attack and then a flat 15% increase. This isn't necessarily an 18%. For those of you that have seen the numbers or heard people talk about it, attack plus 18% is not like if you were doing 100 damage, you're going to be doing 118. At end game, it's less. It's less value. Animo, on the other hand, is a flat 15. But anyway, so you're getting 2 buffs to everything that you do. Animo will also buff your skills also, and if you're casting those every 5 seconds, and if they hit like a freight train, 15% on that might be more beneficial than buffing your normal attack damage, which is what you're going to be doing constantly. So we have to see what the damage numbers are to really verify what the best combo is going to be, and then also your playstyle. So again, if you feel like you're doing a way more just basic attacks, 4-piece is probably better than a 2 and 2. Now, a 4-piece Viridescent could be really good also. Typically, this set is looked at infusing, or not infusing, but decreasing the element resistance of an opponent. So if you were playing a fire character as your main damage, and you go hit them with fire, you switch to an Animo character, you swirl them, they take a bunch of damage, and then their resistance to that element that's on them, fire, is now decreased, so you can do a crap ton more fire damage to them. So on a character that mains Animo, it seems wasted, right? Hold on, if you're fighting an elemental creature, you will still be causing swirl. So if you fight like a pyro slime, you're going to be causing swirl damage. And this 4-piece set increases swirl damage by 60%. So does your elemental mastery. So if you spec for a little bit of elemental mastery on your substats, or maybe one of your pieces has elemental mastery, and you've got a really killer 4-piece here, you could really be doing a crap ton of swirl damage from your skills, and then constantly when your burst is active, because you are doing all Animo, and all Animo against an element will be swirling. There might be a cooldown, like a 1-second cooldown per swirl, but still, that could potentially be a lot of damage. Again, we're going to have to test it and see. But those are the 3 sets that I'm looking at, and I have enough materials here that are decent to have those sets when he comes out. They're not leveled yet, but we'll have those ready to go. I'll have a guide on what I feel, or not a guide, I'll have a showcase that shows how they all work. All right, going back to prepping, I've been farming and prepping for him. So the idea is when his banner comes out in a couple days, I'm going to be able to open wishes until we get him. That's the plan. We're gonna get Xiao day 1 or day 2, depending on what the day is of release. And I'm going to have all the materials ready to make him a level 80 and then a level 90. And just like my recent Ganyu video, which I'm going to learn to... We're going to make it a little shorter next time. I'll showcase what he's like at level 80 and then at level 90, so people can verify if they want to make him a level 90. I'm going to have to kill a bunch of the new boss to get this material here. This is the new boss's material. Other than that, you can farm these flowers. This is the Animo Cube. Slimes. Nobody in their right mind should have to farm these. Everybody should have thousands of these. Mora. And this is just for Ascension, not for XP leveling. I am going to have to farm his talent books, because when I do my showcase, I will have all of his talents up to level 6. I get him to level 6 on purpose and not level 7, because level 6 is something people can farm regularly. You're not going to be locked behind waiting for a weekly boss to grant you access to a part that will then allow, like this piece right here. This is from Child, which is a weekly boss. I go to level 6 on my talents, so it's replicable? Doable. Matchable. There's a word that starts with R. I can't think of what it is. I think it's replicable. So recreate. Recreatable. I don't know what I'm talking about. But so people, it's realistic that people can accomplish what I'm showing off. And to be honest, I should have all of these. All right, and lastly, just for those of you that want to prepare and look at numbers, I apologize for the crudeness of this again. I haven't spent any time trying to make any of this pretty, because I'm not... Normally I post pictures and images on Discord and things so people have quick references. I haven't done any of that. I haven't had a lot of time. But here's the stuff. So this is, if we look at this one right here, this is the XP and Mora required to go from level 1 all the way to level 90. So from level 1 to level 20, it requires that much XP and that much Mora. Combined, here is the total number of XP required. Here is the total number of Mora required, not including the Ascension Mora. You don't need any XP over in Ascensions. Here's what's required for Ascensions. So the total amount of Mora required is going to be this plus this. Bam! So 2,092,000. The total amount of XP, 8,362,650. So yeah, just for fun, I'm going to have another video on all of this, but... Video's probably too long already, but if you're still here, cool. If you want to see how many runs it's going to take of the ley line for just the Mora, from if you have no money, at World tier 6 and 7, you get 60k, right? I'm not going to do the math for the lower levels. You guys need to level up and hurry up, get up here. Just get up here. Hurry up. This is what's relevant. So you earn 60k per ley line. The required ascension Mora is... Okay. And then the required Mora for leveling is that number. Total being what we just said here. See, it matches. It's going to take 34.8 runs to do it, okay? So if we round up, because you can't do a 0.8, that's going to be 35 runs, or 35 ley lines. You can only do 8 per day. It's going to take you 4.3. So on your 5th day of spending 160 resin a day, it's going to take you 4.3 days. So on your 5th day to get just your Mora. Now, obviously, if you're buying resin with Primo Gems, it'll speed it up. But there you go. 4.3 days for just the Mora. But yeah, if you want to come hang out, check out the live stream. I stream every day on Twitch at twitch.tv/SlyGumbi between the late night hours of 8 p.m. till about 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I got the hiccups. You can follow me on Twitter at SlyGumbi for news, updates, and goofiness. We have a Discord. There's a ton of links in the description below. I've been really active on Instagram lately too. If you're an SG fan, it's not really game related, but it's there. Throwing it out there if you want. And with that, see you guys in the next one. Bye bye now.